Hello fellow mini painters, my name is Philip and you are watching Brutally Cunning Miniatures. Let's get one thing out of the way first. The most heard comment for my last video was probably to light the scene a little bit better. Well, I did. But now the joke's on you. You have to see my beautiful orc face way clearer than before. The second most heard comment was, yeah, airbrush tutorial, that's nice, but an airbrush is so damn expensive. Can you maybe do a tutorial with brushes only? Well, obviously I can. But without an airbrush, it's way harder than with just brushes, obviously. In terms of speed, an airbrush is just basically unrivaled. So anyway, let's give it a try. So one brush, one Space Marine, 1 hour. Let's paint brutal, let's paint cunning. Alright, we are starting once again with our Space Marine already primed black. I have to admit, I lied in the intro. We are not using one brush, we use 3. What we are going to do now is creating a black and white sketch of the Mini. We could do it like other painters, way more difficult and time consuming, or we just dry brush white Vanital on the Mini. Most of the white on the higher parts, less and less white on the lower parts of every armor piece. While painting downwards, just reduce the pressure and the white will feather out by itself. For this kind of work, I'm using cheap makeup brushes from the drugstore. Do your wallet a favor and buy a couple of these. For the next step, we paint transparent blue ink over our sketch. I prefer inks over contrast paints here, because we already pre-painted our highlights and don't need this feature of the contrast line. Also, contrast paints tend to leave so-called coffee stains on your Mini, and often give it a look that is best described as bubblegummy. Now we dry brush our highlights. First, Vallejo model color dark blue on roughly 40 to 50% of the surface. Obviously, the highlights are faced towards the top end of the Mini. In the end, as our final highlight, dry brush white mixed with a little bit of the previous color, dark blue, on an even smaller part of the surface. While dry brushing to the top, we use more and more white. Now to the shadows. I'm using a mixture of red, violet and blue shaders to add some punch to our shadows. Just blue would be way too boring for the viewer's eye. So we are adding some reddish tones in the deepest shadow and feathering this effect to the brighter parts. Some really easy blendings via washes. Now let's get through the basic colors. Vallejo Old Gold for chest and shoulders, any steel metal and Vallejo Black Metal for metallic parts. Scale 75 Dubai Brown for leather, black for the joints, Mephiston Red for the eyes. Shade all the black metal parts with Draconov Nightshade. And after this, we are using white spirit and black oil color to create an oil wash of very fluid consistency.
Let the oil wash flow in all the recesses of the miniature and use it to shade the steel tone and the Dubai brown. Highlight the gold and all the metallic parts with Vallejo model color silver. On the larger surfaces, just dry brush it. In the end, give the most prominent edges a solid highlight with Baharoth blue. For the weathering, I'm using the sponge enamel wash method again, like I did in my first video. AK interactive rust streaks and blood for the blood god. Red just looks too good on blue armor. This was the last step in this video. If you want to know how to do the red desert base, just check my first video, Speed Painting 5 Spacemarines in 5 hours. As you can see, even without an airbrush, a quick and solid result is possible. At least I'm happy with the outcome. If you are as well, leave a like and ring the bell button. Thanks and goodbye.